Hi, this is Conrad Zimmerman of FistShark Marketing, reminding you that you can help support our weird show with a small monthly contribution through Patreon. For just a few dollars, you can help make sure absolutely nothing untoward happens to this adorable kitten I'm holding. Just visit patreon.com/FistShark or click the big Patreon button at fistshark.com for more details. And thanks for listening.
Okay, Miley Cyrus has started a funeral home now.
What?
That's what our last customer said. He fell off a cliff.
That's a strange transition. I mean, we know that Miley has always been seeking new business opportunities.
She's a businesswoman at heart.
She's a serial entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm. And she has realized there is a lot of business in death.
It's the thing everybody does, right? Everybody dies.
Yes. She believes that with her customers dropping off like flies, she's bound to make a killing.
No, it's a pretty solid business. You're always going to have a customer base. You're always going to, as long as your work is good, you wind up setting up a funeral home in a community, and you service that community and build relationships and work within families. And it's kind of surprising for someone who is so associated with youth culture and entertainment, really, to get into the funeral home trade.
Sure. I mean, she's found that transition a little bit difficult. She is used to having an audience that typically skews young, and her current customer base at the funeral home that Miley Cyrus owns and operates, that tends to skew older demographically. And she's trying to learn about that now, about dealing with a customer base that typically is in the age bracket of, I want to say, less 11 to 14-year-olds, more 60 to 80-year-olds.
Those are startlingly different demographics. I mean, they can't even identify with each other on really any level. So that's got to be a rough transition for her.
Yeah. I mean, it's been difficult. You get that the families of the deceased, they're trying to mourn. It's a little bit difficult when someone is, wagging their tongue at them, dancing around, kicking over chairs.
Oh, so she has segued her performance talents in a very sort of direct and linear manner to her direction of a funeral event. I see. So
that, and she doesn't know how to do anything else. Like, in general, I mean, obviously serial entrepreneur, she has a mind for business, but when it comes to interacting with other people, she prefers to, rather than talk, she prefers to stick her tongue out at people, dance about, kick over chairs, make idle threats, throw things, threaten to push people's heads through windows. That's different from idle threats because that one's very specific and very passionate.
Yeah, well, certainly we've all been in meetings with Miley. She has a very direct and I would say unique communication style. But she's a woman who knows what she wants, and she's not afraid to ask for it, and I respect that.
Her funeral home is called Miley Cyrus Dead. That's another issue. It's a little unclear as to whether it's a funeral parlor or not. If anything, it looks like a death threat.
Oh, like someone has bought advertising space to suggest that Miley Cyrus should be dead, as opposed to Miley Cyrus is one who provides compassionate care and attention to the dead to facilitate the bereavement of their loved ones. Yeah,
it's not helped by the fact that the business's tagline is a statement of intent. Now, I asked her what she meant by that, and she said sincere care.
Right.
She says she wants to wear her business plans on her sleeve. And I'm like, that's fine, but first of all, you're not wearing any sleeves. You're wearing I think that's an appropriated animal hide at the moment. I think she's into hide at the moment. But she didn't have sleeves, so she was wrong on that count. And on the other count, a statement of intent isn't good advertising for anything, unless it's a manifesto, like a serial killer's manifesto.
Well, I mean, I think that a statement, of intent could be useful for some types of communications firms, PR firms. I mean, actually, that might not work. That might work out pretty well for something. You write that down. Actually, that's not bad. That's not bad. But it's in connection with Miley Cyrus dead. A statement of intent, right? It's not the right tagline for this business.
Right.
It's not the right name for this business either. I mean, Cyrus Funeral Home.
I think almost anything would be better than Miley Cyrus dead, a statement of intent.
Okay, so we might need to work with her on rebranding. I mean, actually, Miley Cyrus dead also sounds like it could just be a nightclub. So that doesn't set the right tone for me either. No, it all seems wrong. We'll have to really work with her and try to get her to reconsider that branding. But I think it's great that she's finding something that is a fallback position from entertainment. We're always telling our clients to diversify, and this is a rock solid kind of business. The kind of thing that you can build and maintain relationships with people, so that you're serving families, time and time again, because it's, yes, it's certainly, it's a kind of a one-time gig, but if you do a great job.
Let me stop you just there. A one-time gig no more. Now, let me explain to you the genius of Miley Cyrus and the potency of her business acumen, okay? Now, she hit upon the very simple fact that there is money in funerals, but you don't get repeat business. You can put on the best funeral of your life, and she absolutely wants to make the best, most entertaining funerals you can get for $500. But who's going to come back? Not the person they just buried.
No, I guess not.
No, not unless Dr. Nightscream finishes that project.
Well, I think you would draw future customers from the people who viewed and enjoyed the funeral experience.
Sure.
I mean, that's always been the business model, right? You advertise with the event.
But it's not the most efficient business model. Because those customers, they're going to be turning up in, 10, 20, 30 years? Miley Cyrus is going to be 40 by then. She needs to get the business now. So she hit upon this idea. Lower upfront payment, but she's leasing the land. We are talking about the world's first subscription-based funeral model.
Oh my God. Oh, this... I can totally see how... So she's basically charging the consumer a significantly lower upfront cost for the services.
Mm-hmm.
You get a great experience, and then you're paying maintenance and upkeep costs. We could bury all sorts of additional fees in there, and you have a long running steady stream of income from all of these clients. That's a great idea. I guess the only question I would have about it is, if you do this,
mm-hmm.
people often think about, like death is the end state of it, right?
Yeah.
At some point, the family, they're going to expect to have paid off. But if it's a lease on the land...
I think I see what you're driving at here. You're worried about what happens if people don't pay.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's... Or when they decide to cease paying, right?
Oh, yeah, when they stop caring.
Or when they die.
Those bastards.
I guess the idea of leasing, especially with, like a resource that never goes away, like real estate, that's a fantastic value.
Mm-hmm.
It's not land that is generally reused, right? Like, it's the sort of asset that it's distributed and used and then not used again.
Unless the family can't or doesn't want to pay, in which case that land's opened up again. You see, Miley Cyrus wins either way. This is the genius of Miley Cyrus dead, a statement of intent. Because if they don't pay, legally, they signed an agreement, she can dig them back up again.
She's gonna She's gonna dig the corpses back up?
She's going to. She has done. And what time is it now? It looks like it's 1 p.m. She's doing it right now.
She's digging up corpses in her own funeral plots as we speak.
Yes. And laughing.
But what's she gonna do with the bodies? 'Cause she's just gonna have a pile of corpses around?
No, that would be silly. She returns them to the original owner, unless the original owners are dead, in which case it goes to their children, or if there are no children present, it'll be arbitrated by a local ombudsman.
I'm not sure people are gonna appreciate that.
Oh, they haven't. They have not, friend. Not even the ones who got off relatively lightly.
Wait, lightly? Like, how is she returning these to people?
Depends how lucky you are. If you're one of the lucky ones, then a speeding car just careens down your street, and you'll notice the rear door fly open and something get flung out. Something about the size of a human body. And then when you leave your house and walk to your yard and see what it is in fact a human body. Your beloved buried relative in a trash bag.
She's just flinging them out of cars onto people's lawns. In trash bag. Well, at least there's a trash bag.
Again, for the lucky ones, there's a trash bag and a car and flinging.
From the position of someone who likes their debts to be paid, it sends a message.
Oh, a very clear message. A very, very clear message. A message that at least I didn't get it as bad as the bakers got it.
What happened to the bakers?
Oh, Gramps Baker got left in a tree and sort of sprawled out across the branches like some manner of twisted mutant scarecrow. The only difference being the fact that the crows really, really liked Mr. Baker. I don't know why you don't want one of these, Conrad, because this is possibly the best vibrating massage chair I've ever sat in, and I've sat in a lot of them.
I love comfort, right?
Yeah, and this is so comfortable, I feel like I'm sitting literally on a cloud.
I mean, it's a product. It's a good product. It's not a product that I'm particularly interested in sitting in.
Is this arrogance? Is this what this is? Is this because it's a budget product? Because to me, that was the most surprising element. I thought, okay, economy massage chair. All right, I see that there's a market for that. After all, why should the poor not feel comfort and pay us for it? But then I sat in this thing and I'm like, okay, this is no econo chair. This is top of the range comfort at a bottom of the barrel price.
And that was the goal. That was the stated purpose when we set out to build the most comfortable, most affordable massage chair on the market. I mean, they succeeded. It's dirt cheap to produce, which means we'll be able to sell them for peanuts and still make a huge profit on them. Everyone's going to want one.
It feels like the fall of Rome, this is so decadent.
And it's not arrogance necessarily. I wouldn't put it that way. You're right. It is because it's an economy product, but it's not the concept of the economy product so much as the construction of it that makes me hesitant.
Are you concerned that the vibrating chair is full of horny possums?
Well, yeah. I mean, you've summed it up. Yes, that is the reason. It is because it's not so much a mechanical chair with vibrating elements as it is a possum orgy in the shape of a chair.
Yeah, well, that's why it's so cheap. I mean, yeah, we could spend money making gears and motors and plugs and electricity, whatever that is, or we could get a chair-shaped skin, pack it to the brim with sex-starved possums, and then let everybody enjoy the comfort that only until now the top 1% of Americans have enjoyed. We are the 99%. Give us a chair full of horny possums.
I'm a little worried people might find it unsettling as I do.
Well, all I can say is, I know that I'm sitting in a chair full of horny possums, and I'm very settled.
But have you looked at the chair when you're not sitting in it?
No, that would be unpleasant. That's why it's for sitting in, not looking at. I'm not taking this to Crufts to win an award for best looking dog. First of all, because it's a chair. Second of all, because it's possums in there. Maybe some dogs. I don't entirely know the process. They come from a sketchy possum farm. Well, they come from America's only possum farm. So who knows what standards and practices they've got to adhere to. But they're cheap. They're cheap. That's the thing. They're cheap. It's a cheap chair, and they're cheap possums. Because why shouldn't the poor be able to afford horny possums?
I understand and agree completely. We are nothing if not egalitarian.
No, absolutely. I love eagles. And the eagles. Trying to put an eagle in a neck massager, yeah, that was a bad call. The stoats that we've replaced it with, though, bang on. Check out my neck. Feels so good. That's the stoats.
It looks like it's just like your neck's 3 times its normal size and writhing, like you're swallowing all the time, is really what it looks like.
Gives my neck muscles a workout. You put 2 stoats in a tube sock and wrap them around your neck, and you see results. I'm going to look like Brock Lesnar from the neck up.
No, you're clearly getting results. You're looking svelte. And I mean, I thought you weren't going to wear it all the time. I thought it was just like an hour or two, a day that you wear it, get that. But you're really committed to that Lesnar neck.
It feels good to have stoats fucking on my neck and possums fucking onto me ass.
I mean, isn't there like some concern about what happens if the animals die or God forbid escape and start attacking you?
Well, that's why we've designed the sketching from the highest quality fabrics. They're 100% possum tested. I know you're going to ask me how they're possum tested.
Well, I was actually going to ask you how they were possum tested, yeah.
Well, what I'm going to do there is choose to ignore that question and tell you about just how soft this leather is.
Okay, tell me how soft the leather is.
I can't. It's not real leather.
Okay, all right, that's a bit of a technicality. So tell me how soft the imitation leather is.
Right. Well, this weasel skin chair is the topmost example of how you can be fashionable and comfortable in your own home.
You switched from possums to weasels there.
No, I did not. The chair's full of possums in a weasel skin chair.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No apology necessary. It's a confusing process. You see, what happens is the weasels break into the possum farm to try and eat, fuck, or both the possums. Now, Clemmy, who runs the possum farm, he doesn't want his possums eaten, so he traps the weasels, skins the weasels. He's got armfuls of weasel pelts. I'm thinking, hello, there's an idea. Clemmy, can you make your weasel pelts into the shape of a chair? Can I? Says Clemmy. He does it. I say, right, you got all these possums you've been farming. You got nowhere to put them. How about we put the possums in the weasels, and then we've got a possum chair with a weasel skin exterior. It's gonna look good. It's gonna feel great. So by the time he told me he had a couple of fucking stoats in the back, I was thrilled.
We didn't really do any research and development then. You just found a possum farmer who had a weasel problem, and you killed 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah. Have you ever played golf with otters?
Have I ever played golf with otters?
Yeah.
How do you play golf with otters?
With great difficulty, they make terrible clubs.
Well, another successful award ceremony gone. I'm pleased. I'm pleased that we got some this time around for our clients. We marketed them well. We were aggressive in our campaigns of showing the judges, who to vote for, and we got some winners out of it.
Well, the best thing about these awards is they're not just about who the most famous person is. In fact, a lot of the people who win these awards are considered failures in the business. But that's why they're so good at winning this particular award.
Well, and a lot of, like fallen stars and things like that, we specialize in.
Well, they're my favourites, if anything. They don't mouth off so much.
It's clear that at some point someone saw something in them and then realized they were wrong.
And now the only thing that's in them is drugs and alcohol, which makes them prime contenders for this particular award show, which just so happens to be my favourite award show of the year. You can take your Oscars and you can shove them. The Lemmys is where it's at.
What better award show is there for our clients than one in which we celebrate the achievements in intoxication throughout the entertainment industry?
And it's open to everyone, not just Robert Downey Jr.
Who, don't get me wrong, he looks great. He looks great.
He's very beautiful and such a talent.
But yeah, it's the show where other people get a chance,
Dean Cain, for all that Swarthega redone Sunday. I mean, it's the only time you're ever going to see the Cainmeister win Best Actor for anything.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, Miley getting nominated for Best New Composition. Now, that was a mistake because, as we all know, Miley is completely stone clean. Can't get her to do anything. It's really a shame because you'd think she'd have such potential, but no, she's just so out there.
She loves to brew her own. She might not partake, but she brews her own in a cellar under her house.
I did not know that. See, I thought she was just crazy.
Well, that's a common misconception with the Lemmys is people think that Best Composition is for songs. It's not, it's for homebrew.
Oh!
Yeah, that's why she won.
Okay, well that makes a whole lot more sense.
Although I think she was robbed, because I think Kilmerbrow really was the best on show that evening.
You think so?
I mean, I couldn't see for 2 days after.
I suppose that is an effective brew, but I don't know, I was hesitant to drink anything that Val decided to brew because he's got that cauldron, and I know he doesn't clean it. That just gives me, it just makes me, I don't want to catch anything, right?
I mean, yeah, Val Kilmer has a dirty cauldron. We all know about that, it's no secret. I mean, that was exposed in the 90s, but for me, it's worth it, because you've also got to remember, a lot of things just slough off of Val Kilmer. And about 70% of the things that fall away from him, like crumbs off a wet cake, have at least mild hallucinogenic properties. So anything that falls into that cauldron becomes part of Kilmerbrow and contributes to 2 sightless but very fun days.
Well, and Taylor Swift got Best Picture for Superfund. That photo of her new mixed drink.
The one she took in Mallorca. Yeah. I tried drinking the Superfund.
And?
I lost 2 teeth.
2 teeth?
Yeah, it just melted. It was amazing.
Wow. I know that there's some dispute, some argument between Britney Spears and Taylor Swift over this. Apparently, Britney feels like she contributed a lot to that project and should have gotten credit for it.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think all she said was put more lemon in.
Oh, well, lemon seems important to me.
It was Taylor's idea to use gasoline, and that's what gave it the kick.
I think it's important that everyone get acknowledgement, and this is not because I recently signed Britney. But I did recently sign Britney.
Okay, that's understandable. We'll get her in for next year. But this is the Lemmys. This is not a fun-for-all child sports day where you all get trophies for participating. You don't just have 3 bottles of wine and think that's good enough. You've got to commit. You need to turn up with as few clothes as possible and even less morals.
No, I know, I understand. And we'll get her in fighting form for next year, definitely. It's just, I don't know, it just kind of hurts because you don't expect that from such a class act like Taylor Swift.
That's true.
That's all I'm saying.
That's true. Most people who associate with Taylor Swift have nothing but good things to say. So, I don't know. I'm on the fence on this one. Maybe Britney put more lemon into the Superfund. Maybe she didn't. Maybe it's all about the petrol. I don't know. I wasn't there. All I know is I represent Taylor Swift and I'm very proud of her win.
I wish they would do something about the Lifetime Achievement Award at the Lemmys. Because this is like the 5th consecutive year they've just given it to Keith Richards because he's still alive.
Yeah.
And that seems, I don't know.
Well, it's very easy to sit back and say, oh, it sucks that the Lifetime Achievement Award goes to Keith Richards every year. It seems like all he has to do is live and he wins an award for it. But then you've got to remember, he's staying alive as Keith Richards. The man should get an award every time he wakes up in the morning, and he still can do that thing that I just said he does, which has struck me right now as bizarre, almost blasphemous.
The living? Yeah, at this point I would say the living of Keith Richards is bordering on blasphemy.
I mean, it's not natural.
No, it doesn't make any rational sense. It doesn't fall within the boundaries of natural law. Entropy should have taken its toll.
I'm sorry, I've got to cut you off. I did just get a text from upstairs. The senior partner said, we are not to question anything about Keith Richards. So I'm really glad he won that award. Well deserved.
That's great.
Well deserved.
Well done for him. Here's hoping he takes it again next year.
Absolutely. He loves drink and drugs, and that's fine. And he shouldn't be dead from doing too much drink and drugs. And there was no pact. Never a pact.
May he live forever.
Which he will.
FistShark Marketing is Jim Sterling and Conrad Zimmerman. Theme music by Ben Rama. Additional music by Alazar Chand. Our editor is Austin Yorsky. Get more episodes and learn how to support the show at FistShark.com. Follow us on Twitter at FistShark for more of our exploits. Complaints can be forwarded via email to fistsharkmarketing@aol.com. And remember, for every law, there's a violation. Goodbye.